a resident in Luxor. She's Luxor now, and she will tell us all the story about falling in love in Luxor. Hello, Teresa.
Hi, good morning, Deena.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Hey, tell us your story.
It was always my dream to come to Egypt, and I think from 1972, when the student army came to London, it was like I wanted to come and see it all for myself. And I came here in 1992 for the first time to Luxor to do a Nile cruise. The in Luxor, in my heart, I knew I'd come home. And this was the place I was meant to be. And that week I fell in love with Egypt. We did a 4-day cruise, my sister and I, then we spent 2 days in Cairo, and I just felt that Egypt was the most wonderful country in the world, and this is where I wanted to be.
So did you have a job back home, back in England?
Yes, yeah, I had, I'm a nursery nurse. So I worked with children from babies up until like 8 years in the kindergarten, as you call it, like the nurseries. And then I changed my job and I worked as an education welfare officer because the children in school, they don't like to go to school in England, so they need someone to keep pushing them to go to school. So that was my job. So I worked with children from school age, 5 years up to 16 years.
So when you came to Luxor, did you start a job or what did you do for a living?
I opened a company. I built my own house, and in the house there is flats. And I have an Egyptian business partner, and he's my best friend, and we started a company. And we rented flats and we advertised flats for other people, Egyptian landlords who wanted to rent their flats. But unfortunately, because most of our flats were rented to tourists, the business wasn't really very successful, and we've had to close the business now.
So sorry for that. So actually I was just about to tell you, throughout the revolutions, starting from 2011 until now, did you feel any change in Luxor?
Not really. I mean, the only change is that there's no tourists anymore. Luxor itself hasn't changed. You know, I was here all through the revolution and never felt in danger. You know, I was part with the people. I didn't join any demonstrations, but I cheered them on. And because, you know, they wanted the freedom, which is the right for everyone. And there was such a vibrant feeling of excitement and hope, you know, during the revolution. And everyone was really hopeful. And after that, there were more tourists came because they wanted to see the new Egypt. But then, of course, when Mohamed Morsi became the president, that was when things started to change.
So what's the situation now in Luxor?
The situation now in Luxor is pretty desperate. There's little tourism. Alhamdulillah, the German tourists are starting to come back now. But the people in Luxor, they've had over 3 years with no income. And many of them are now struggling to even feed their families. So it is a desperate situation, and we desperately need tourists to come back, just so that the people can get back to normal, get back with their lives, and start to earn their own money again.
If you have a message to tell your friends or England or anywhere else in the world, what would you say? Please, Camilla.
I would just say that Luxor is safe. Luxor has always been safe. I've been here now for 6 years. I feel safer here than I ever did anywhere that I lived in the UK. And the Egyptian people are the friendliest in the world. And if you have a problem, they're there to help at any time, no matter what the problem. The Egyptian people, they protect the tourists from any hassle, or yes, there's a little hassle, but people, they want you to go into their shop and buy from them, because they have to earn a living. But they, you know, they really need you. They really need you to come back, and I can promise you, the situation is safe, and there's no problems here at all. Luxor has never had any protests or problems.
Okay, Teresa, I join you, please, and I'm asking tourists also to come to Egypt. Please come to Egypt. Thank you very much, Teresa.
Thank you, Deena. Thank you.
Welcome. She's not just visiting, but she's actually a resident in Luxor. And right now, she'll tell us her story. Hello, Ingrid.
Hello, Deena. How are you?
Fine, how are you?
Fine. Very pleased to be here with you.
Oh, me too, as well. Okay, please tell me, what's the story of you falling in love with Luxor?
Well, I think Luxor is one of these places, it's either love or nothing. And for people, most of the people, it's love. And I'm just one of those who came here about 20 years ago and just fell in love with it. And don't ask me why. I think it was the light. There is a special light here. It's the people, their sense of humor, the way they can laugh about themselves and about the rest of the world. And I think, you know, once you can laugh with them and once you can make them laugh, I think you win the heart of the Egyptians.
At that time, where were you living?
I was living, and I'm still part of the time in Belgium, so in Brussels. And so I, you know, when it's really getting hot here, I try to spend a few months in Belgium, and the rest of the time I'm here, yes.
Okay, so do you work? I mean, how do you occupy your time?
Well, you know, that's the strange thing, is that you have your friends in Europe saying, what are you doing all the time? You know, I mean, what are you spending your time on when you're in Luxor? I mean, you know, don't you just sit there and do nothing? And no, there's just so much to do, so much to see, so much to know about, so much to learn. And, you know, one of the things, of course, is to be able to help the poorest here. And, of course, being a woman, it's helping the women. And so we have various projects on alphabetization lessons for women, for poor women on the West Bank.
Like what?
Well, we have classes that last 6 months, for which we pay. And so we have the poorest women of a village come together, and every day, 2 hours, they get taught how to write and to read, how to make calculations, just the basics. And after 6 months, they get a kind of diploma, official piece of paper.
Wow, that's a great project.
Oh, it is fantastic, and they're so happy. And these women are just love it. So much so that one of the classes asked us whether they could do it another 6 months, you know. So we organized another 6 months for them lately, and they were just there all the time, and all of them came back, and they still meet each other, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful project.
So what about your friends? Did you make new friends here?
Yes, I made many, many friends here, all kinds of friends. I think somehow there's a bond and something that puts the people together who come here. And every year, in the summer, when I'm not here, we meet people coming from England and from Holland and from Belgium and from France. We meet together at either one place or the other, and we talk about Luxor, of course. We are all back home, and the only thing we do is get together again and talk about Luxor.
Have you been anywhere else in Egypt?
Yes, I've been to Cairo, of course, to Alexandria, to the desert, to Aswan, to Abu. I mean, I think I've seen, not everything, I haven't seen Siwa yet, but that's one of the things I'd like to see. But, you know, from Masamatu to, you know, Alexandria, Cairo, and then down to Aswan and Abu.
Right, so I know that tourism is kind of low nowadays in Egypt, especially in Luxor, in these touristic cities where the people living here depend on tourism basically for living. So what's your opinion about that?
Well, I think time is very, very difficult, of course, for the people here, and there is no industry in Luxor, which is a good thing. I mean, there is just no big factories and no places, you know, making a lot of smoke and noise and things like pollution, and no pollution of industry anyway. So the only industry is tourism. So that means that people here really have a big, big problem for the time being. Is there's just no money coming in, and it's not only the people who have a little shop for tourism, but also the others, because since the people working in tourism don't make any money, they're not buying anything that they would normally buy in shops where only Egyptians go to. So everybody really is having a big problem, I think, here, and I think people should know that Luxor is just the way it was, the way it has been, and the way it will always be. It's just a wonderful place to come
a message to tell your friends back home or anywhere in the world, what will it be?
Well, it will be, and it will always be, I think, come to Luxor, come and visit this wonderful country. If you haven't been here before, come. If you have already been, come and discover how wonderful it is, and how, every time you come back, you discover other things, you get a little deeper into the wonderful things of this country and the wonderful mentality of the people. And, we say in French, you only see well something you know. And I think so the more you know Luxor, the more you see it and the more beautiful sides of it you will discover.
That was absolutely fabulous. And me too, I join Ingrid in her message. Please come to visit Egypt, to visit Luxor, Hurghada, Cairo, Aswan, all these interesting cities. Thank you very much, Ingrid.
Thank you, Deena. See you again, I hope.
I hope to see you again.
Okay, bye-bye.
In particular, it's a city of attraction to tourists. We can see some of them come and visit each year once or twice, and that's very usual. But we begin to be amazed by those who come 5 or 6 times annually. As for those who immigrate or come to live here for good, they must hold the biggest secret of all. Let's find out together the magical secret of Luxor. Barbara Clark is one British citizen who has taken a very important decision in her life by leaving England and coming to live here in Luxor for good. Let's find out together the secret behind her important life decision. Hello, Barbara.
Hello, Deena.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
So tell me from the start, how come you chose Luxor to visit in the first place?
I first came here in 1992 with my sister Teresa for a holiday. As soon as I stepped off the plane, I felt like I'd come home. It just felt so natural to be here, and I just fell in love with Luxor. And we kept coming back, and it just got harder and harder to leave, so we decided to move here for good.
So what were you doing in England at that time when you decided to come and live here?
Okay, I was looking after my mum that was sick, but then she sadly passed away. So because of there was no jobs in the UK, my sister was already living here. She'd been living here 6 years, so 5 years ago I moved here to live with her.
So what were your sister doing then?
She has a house that she built here, and she was renting to tourists, but now we rent to residents here in Luxor because of the lack of tourists.
Right, so she did the business just by herself?
Yes. She built the house from scratch. Everything is in her name, and she has 7 flats to rent out and for sale.
So how did you publicize for your flat?
On the internet, through websites, property websites, for rental property, and on social network like Facebook and Twitter and places like that.
Did you find actually many people responding?
Quite a few, yeah, until the tourist situation declined.
Right, so what about you? When you came here in the beginning, what happened? First impression?
Oh, I just fell in love with Luxor. I fell in love with the people. The people are so friendly. They make you just feel so welcome. And I love this city with all my heart. And I never want to be anywhere else. The people are just amazing.
So gradually, tell me step by step. At the beginning, did you work or did you help your sister?
I just helped my sister getting the flats ready, and when tourists came, sort of cleaning the flats ready for the tourists to come. But now we went to residents that are living here.
So do you have to deal with Egyptians in your work, in your job, or you just deal with foreigners only?
We deal with Egyptians on a daily basis. Me and Teresa, we walk around the city. Most of our friends are Egyptian. They are the friendliest people in the world. They are always ready to help with anything, and they want nothing in return.
All right.
So,
Which part of the city you live in? The center or?
in Awamia, the south of the city, sort of just outside the centre.
So which parts are your favorite in Luxor?
I love the whole of Luxor, but I love walking through the souk and meeting the different people, and I'm just so sad to see it so empty of tourists at the moment. The people are sad, they need business, but they keep asking, when are the tourists coming back? And I wish I could tell them. And so I love meeting the people. My favourite archaeology site is Karnak Temple. It's just an amazing place. It's awe-inspiring. The size of it and just how it's built is just amazing.
So today you are in the bazaar in the souk area. Do you find it amusing to walk through it in spite of the fact that you already know all this beautiful merchandise?
Oh yeah, it's like, I get the hello Awamia every day. Everybody through here knows me because I walk through here a lot, and it's just nice to see friendly faces.
So Barbara has been living here in Luxor City for almost 5 years, and she has no near intention to go back home, right?
True. Okay, that is very true. I have no intention of going back to England. Luxor is in my heart, it is my home, and I never want to be anywhere else. Luxor is the most welcoming city I've ever been in my entire life. I felt safer here in the last 5 years, even through 2 revolutions, than I ever felt in the UK. And this is from my heart. Yes, there has been trouble here, but the people of Luxor, they know that their income relies on tourism, so they would never do anything to hurt a tourist. They love foreigners here, and they make us feel welcome.
So if you have a message to tell your friends back home, what will it be? Please talk to the camera now.
My message to the world is come to Luxor, you won't regret it. It's, in my opinion, it is the most wonderful city in the world. The people are friendly, the culture is fantastic, and the people are so welcoming. So please, please, please consider Luxor for your next holiday.
And by the way, you're wearing Egyptian flag. So fashionable after the weekend. So you have something to say about it.
I made this